What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 4. This is going to be Game 2 between Hehe and Vega Squadron. Hehe crushed Vega Squadron so convincingly in Game 1 after getting a nut start with Troll Warlord and Io as a combo. Now they're going to ban it out so that they don't get on the receiving end of it. Kind of weird how that happens, but either way, Vega Squadron, if they lose this, then they're doomed to a Division 2 spot. We'll see if they can pull it back. I'm Mike Loris. I'm going to be joined by D-Sword for this game number 2. And that was such a convincing game that it's hard to say what Vega can actually do, but what are your thoughts?
I mean, I want to trust in Vega a little bit more. I feel like Hehe just, they surprised us, honestly. They had quite a weird draft, and they pulled it off. I mean, that's usual of them, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, Vega didn't play badly necessarily. I just think their item choices were not the ideal ones, and perhaps if they... I think that this game they just need to be a little bit more concentrated, and they should be fine. Like, I still trust them enough. I think it's probably gonna go to a game 3, and that's what we decided. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's always kind of disappointing whenever you have just a 2-game series of one team absolutely getting destroyed. So I also hope that it's going to get to a game 3. I want to see Vega Squadron, at least win one game and hopefully do it pretty convincingly, just to show that last game was a fluke. But either way, it's going to be Juggernaut first pick for Hehe. Actually, after taking a look at the bans, Troll Io going to get banned out. The Io is certainly justifiable. Troll, not as much, I would say. And then Viper being banned out by Vega. Looks like they're just sick of that hero right now. Dazzle and Tidehunter for Vega Squadron. An early pick for Dazzle for sure, but this is possibly building up towards a minor minus armor sub-theme. And also, it is pretty good against Juggernaut, as the heal bomb does go through that Blade Fury.
I mean, Dazzle is just one of the strongest. I think. I really think he's first pick material. As what was it, Sir Action Flex? I think he said like it's good to pick Omni in pubs because it prevents him from dying. Dazzle does the same thing. It's really good. And if you combine that weave with the physical damage, for example, it's just simply the anchor smash is just really powerful. Maybe they don't have Avenge this time, but even a Slardar will actually be legitimate with the with the Dazzle. So. It's just a really strong teamfight hero, and against honestly pretty much anything that can get dealt a lot of physical damage, he's just amazing. So, good job. I think Vega will have a really strong teamfight here if they decide to go with the Dazzle strat.
Yeah, at least now they'll have a Ravage to fall back on. Like, so even if they do get a little bit far behind, then they will have something that they could bank on in order to bring them right back into the game, and usually Ravage is going to be that tool. But for right now, it's going to be Legion Commander banned out. I really like the Axe ban, actually, from Hehe. A physical hero in the fact that that's what the spins do, physical damage. And if you get gushed and then, woven up, then you get called, then you're just dead. There's nothing you can do about it, even if you're Juggernaut with spin.
Yeah, very true. Good ban. Usually you don't get really afraid of the Slardar. I'd be kind of afraid. I think it's actually quite powerful hero. Cloud9 managed to run him pretty convincingly in a similar strategy, so honestly, if I was Vega, I would probably pick up that hero. But what would you think? What would you think is good for the Vega strat win right now?
I think they should keep their eyes open for both the Slardar and the Templar Assassin. Both those two heroes will get, first of all, a whole lot of minus armor, but will also are heroes that can be countered. So I think for right now, they should pick up their secondary support hero. It doesn't have to be another minus armor support. In fact, just trying to think of them, none really come to mind. So, yeah, except for, maybe Vengeful Spirit, obviously can't be done. Anyone else can build a medallion. Grab your secondary support, see what Hehe get, and then make your choice. So, it's probably going to be a toss-up of, as I said, TA or Slardar, or just go for a Tusk. Wow. Okay, there are some teams that, most teams, I'm surprised with Tusk. I think Moscow 5 International is the only team that I wouldn't be surprised to see a Tusk pick, but Vega, they have played Tusk a couple of times in the past, so it's always nice to see him. Not exactly that minus armor hero, but man, it could get the job done. If you snowball in and then shadow wave, it's a ridiculous combo. It's so janky, but it works.
I love it. I actually really love seeing the Tusk. I mean, it's not seeing Tusk on screen, but it's still worth it. And now Hehe going for that Shadow Fiend. Interesting pickup. I was actually going to suggest that for Vega. I think it'd be interesting to see, but really interesting getting the Shadow Fiend. I don't know how strong this hero is, though. Like, against the Tusk and the Tidehunter, again, easily ganked low HP people, and that minus armor could actually really hurt this hero. What do you think of this pickup?
Well, it's actually going to give Hehe a little bit extra minus armor, but just as I was saying with the TA, this is a very easily counterable hero, and already Vega, they have Tusk, and Tusk is amazing versus Shadow Fiend in that Shadow Fiend relies on being on the outskirts of the fight. He wants to be very far away, picking off one guy at a time with his insane damage, but if you get snowballed, then it's just all over. Like, you have Tusk around top of you at least. You have to kill him off, and of course you kill all his friends. It's a risky pick from Hehe, but if they manage to make it happen, maybe they're themselves setting up for a Jar Ranger pick, then, well, Shadow Fiend is a pretty solid mid laner, and it's going to require rotations from Vega, rotations from a Tusk Dazzle. It's not too dangerous.
Oh, Luna pick. I haven't seen this in quite a while. It used to be that safe carry, but you know, in the new meta it wasn't that safe, and I don't know what I think about this guy. I mean, the combination with the Dazzle is actually quite powerful. With the Weave, it's also a really good teamfight hero, and with the Snowball, it could actually get pretty good Eclipse. But I don't know. I guess I haven't seen a Luna triumph really recently. She's a really strong hero in the mid to late game, but I don't know how well she can do against a Shadow Fiend, especially.
Shadow Fiend and Juggernaut, those are heroes that could just stand their ground and fight the Luna. And Hehe, they're going to go for with a Chen as their fourth. This is actually going to change their lineup a lot. I thought they were going to go for a little more of a late game oriented game, but now it's going to be a death ball game. They're going to use the naturally high damage output of Shadow Fiend and Juggernaut, and of course the healing ward synergy with Chen's dominated creeps in order to try to get complete map control. They're going to kill off all the towers, and then from there maybe it's going to transition into a late game, but this is going to be an early game focus for Hehe. Fortunately for Vega, Luna, Tusk, these are heroes that you want to have on your team. Tidehunter, these are heroes that you want to have if you know that you're going to be fighting early on. Especially like Luna, as you said, could do very well mid-late, but as far as carries go, she could also do quite a bit early if needed.
Team pick.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, oh wow, actually going for Clinks. Forgetting the Luna, the Clinks is... Okay, well, I don't know what to say. The Clinks is really powerful, I think, against the Shadow Fiend especially. Usually a BKB carry, Clinks can actually disintegrate him really easily, and against the Juggernaut, because all this Searing Arrows goes through that. But the Broodmother actually counter to the Clinks itself. Luna, though, is going to have a really easy time farming this Broodmother, this Pirate Links, and so is going to be Tidehunter. Even Dazzle actually could farm him pretty easily. The Tusk somewhat, I guess. I don't know how much I like this Broodmother pick. It just seems like free gold for Luna and Tidehunter.
I like the Broodmother with what Hehe have. I don't like it up against what Vega have. I mean, if you look at Hehe's side, they're going to be pushing with Chen, Shadow Fiend, Vengeful, Juggernaut, and that's usually enough to get the towers down, just because Chen has so much health with his creeps, or so much, like, you know, so many bodies on the front lines, being healed up by the Juggernaut with percentage healing, and a lot of damage from the Shadow Fiend Venge. They will be able to take down towers, and that means that the rest of Vega have to deal with that, while at the same time have to deal with the Broodmother. And that's a good strategy for Hehe. Just split the attention.
What?
Wait. Oh, something was going on.
Oh.
We wanted Phoenix.
Bonefetcher Misflick, we wanted Phoenix, is bugged or something. Well, really dog.
Can we remake?
Okay.
We already got the Brood. Sure. Well, yeah. I don't know what happened. Maybe, I mean, they kind of are the same color, similar colors. Phoenix is a little more red
next
than
to
Clinks.
Phoenix? Is that true?
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, they wanted Phoenix, but they took Clinks.
Oh no, Clinks is agility. What am I saying?
Yeah, they're not even like, they're the same color, but they're not even like close to each other in the boxes, right?
Yeah, how exactly do you miss? They said it was a bug. You think is that a thing?
I think it's like someone said Clinks and then I picked Clinks, but you guys really meant Phoenix. I'm pretty sure it's one of those things. But okay, so Phoenix is actually pretty sweet in that, well, you'll be able to fight early. The fire spirits will be able to slow down the push. It's going to mean that the attack speed of the other side is going to be very influential. And there's a Vengeful Spirit stun, and that's it? Like, is that the only form of crowd control? Yeah, it's the only form of crowd control on the Hehe side, so...
I think so.
ARDM deathmatch.
I mean, ARDM, I didn't drop super crease.
Get some super creeps up in here. That'll be the day.
I love playing with Hehe. It's just the best team. It's such a fun team.
So I guess, like, they will pick their 4 heroes, and then he will be able to repick the Brood, right? Like, I think that's fair.
I think that's fair. Honestly, I think that should be fair.
Oh, they don't even want to.
You guys want to
Phoenix?
change?
Nah, it's fine.
They can win with the last pick. Well, it's hard to say actually.
We decided on Earth Spirit.
Oracle for your last pick. Oh well. Do you? I mean.
All right. Hopefully we're going to
Okay.
get this going soon enough, but if it is going to be a Phoenix, and if it is going to be the Broodmother, still the same thing applies for what I said about Hehe's side. I like the Broodmother with what they have. For Vega, the Phoenix is going to give them, what, a better laner, probably towards the off lane. It's going to be a little bit more counter push in the fact that you'll be able to poke at them with the Fire Spirits, but yeah, it's a hero that could certainly get online faster than the Clinks, but other than that, it's still going to be them mostly on the receiving end of push.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's just I don't know how easy the Spires are going to be dealt with, though. I see the synergy with the team, but including the creeps, actually, considering the amount of wave clear they're going to have with the Phoenix, it's just going to be kind of hard for the guys that Hehe to push anything. I don't know how much I like the Brood pick anymore. I don't think the Clinks was a bad pick, though, against especially the Shadow Fiend and the Juggernaut. I think it was actually quite viable, but I guess, I mean, Phoenix is also a good pick. I don't know.
Maybe they just
Either
don't.
way.
I mean, the Clinks is good against what he have, but again, it's like you don't really want to have a Clinks and a Tusk and a Clinks Luna. That's just a little bit too soft, I think. I think it's
agree.
fine though. Like if you picked a Clinks here, it's not terrible. If they picked a Drow Ranger here, that would be really bad. But it's not that, so who knows? Either way, this is our correct draft, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hehe are going to be pushing, and Vega with so many answers to this Broodmother, and I don't know if I've actually seen he play the Broodmother before, so I don't really know as to the strength of the player with the hero, but either way, it's going to be Vega Squadron should be mostly responsive in this game, unless they get something going from very early on. Tusk may be grabbing boots first, but even if they do that, I don't really see them getting convincing amount of kills early on.
To be fair, Hehe are the kind of guys that they'll just they can play pretty much anything. And I've never seen them like be specifically a hero that they haven't played with. So I don't know. I was actually kind of expecting Techies at one point. So what can I say? I don't know what draft I really favor. Like I really want to favor Vega, but I just feel like I don't know. Last time I did this him, and he just kind of brought it home. So
yeah, so maybe we should just favor the team that we think has a worst draft, just because that's what happened in game one. So yeah, I think Vega they're more than prepared for this Broodmother, but this is just such a risky kind of like coin flippy early stage for Hehe that if things go well, then they will just get such an overwhelming advantage, and they'll probably be able to win the game after it. If things go well that first time, that's going to happen. If things go poorly the first time, then they're just completely screwed. So we'll see if that is which one is going to happen. Either way, Vega, they have the right heroes now, and Phoenix is going to be going up towards top. He's going to be played by Pashubashu. Arzeek is going to be playing the support Tusk, joining Undershock's Luna, and Seema the Slayer's Dazzle. Down towards bottom, no one's going to be playing the Tidehunter. I'm pretty sure they're not going to try lane mid, but these three heroes, they are able to do some work early on. They're probably going to take a wander through the enemy jungle and see what they could find. Most likely not going to be anything that they really want to find.
30 seconds to battle.
well, as for the other side, the guys at Hehe, we're gonna see. Give me a second. Okay. Gonna see Mr. Nihi's on the Chen this time as his first support. Then Good, I think, is his actual name. Vengeful. He wanted me to call him that. And at the speed of life will be the carry. Oh, actually, they're gonna go on Nihi's right now. He's actually in a lot of trouble. He can't do much. Only holy preservation on him, and that's gonna be a dead Chen. Can they find Mr. Good as well? Poor Venge is actually in a lot of trouble. He's just waiting for the bounty rune. Very greedy by his part. Arzeek is going to have Ice Shards in only 3 seconds. He's stunned. Pretty good stun, but the Ice Shards should still be able to hit him if he wants to throw him out, but he's actually going to manage to get to the tower. Very smart. Anyway, we're going to also have Hua on the Shadow Fiend mid, and finally Yarn the Slayer as the Broodmother in the off-lane position.
And people are so greedy for these minute 0 bounty runes. Like, that could have very easily been the Vengeful Spirit's death, and then that was definitely not worth trying to get a bounty rune for, but Vengeful Spirit ends up not getting punished, and it's ultimately Chen to really suffer. He also is going to drop a sentry, unfortunately just out of range of the sentry that's blocking his hard camp, so he's not going to have that one going for him. Also, there's an observe reward blocking his secondary hard camp that's closer to the lane, So, do you take an ogre here, or do you take a wolf? I don't really know. Either way, Nias is not going to have a good Chen game, and, well, if you manage to cripple one hero, any hero, this hard, this early on, then it's going to be really bad times. This sentry ward is in range of this observer, so Chen, maybe they'll clear off the observer ward and clear out this camp so that they get a respawn, but he's maybe going to have a chance of getting something once the first minute breaks.
Yeah, but it's quite unfortunate because Chen, even with, I mean, with the new update, what's actually happening? Oh, okay, he has to go to the bathroom. Chen, with the new update, is actually quite strong in the jungle because he can actually get 2 creeps at level 2, but he's still not the best farmer as opposed to like things like Enigma or something of the sort. So, I don't know, like, this is actually really crippling for him. He also misses 1 Wildkin stack if he has to Tornado farm. So I don't know how effective this Chen is actually going to be here. They actually managed to shut him down pretty effectively, so good job on the Vega side for this.
I think the play here for the Dire is that they just want to get Chen to level 3 just so that they can get those 2 creeps. Grab 2 creeps, hopefully ones that aren't absolutely terrible, then use the Juggernaut's healing ward, which should be, you know, level 1 by then at the very least, to go for a push. I don't know when they're actually going to make that exact play. Maybe they'll wait till level 5 on both their heroes, or, you know, the longer they wait, obviously the more powerful the push is going to be. But that should be the play. Try to take down the entirety of the top lane. This is something that teams used to do like a very long time ago, tier TI2 kind of era. They just used to grab the Chen or Enchantress, grab a Juggernaut, and then just completely destroy all of the towers. And it may or may not work out in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, the Chen and the Enchantress himself, but, you know, the Chen specifically is actually a really strong pusher. In this game, actually, considering they have the healing ward, do you think they should go for mech with the Chen, or actually straight up Aghanims, maybe able to get it rather soonish before the game ends? Which one do you think is a better option?
It's actually pretty close, I think. Like, no one else, with the exception of Shadow Fiend, might get a mech on Hehe, so rushing Aghanims or just getting, like, Arcane Boots for Chen first, and then into Aghanims, I think is probably better, and then just have the Shadow Fiend grab the mech. I mean, I'm pretty sure someone on Hehe is going to get the mech either way, but yeah, having a low cooldown of Hand of God is huge. It lets you continuously push in, and that seems to be what the game plan of the Dire is. And of course, you get the ability to steal Ancients, which may or may not be useful. Vega have heroes that are pretty good at shutting down Ancients.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if once you get a little more levels on the Hand of God, it's actually much more healing the mech as the game progresses. So people usually underestimate that Aghanims are great because of the power of the mech and the extra armor and whatnot. It's actually quite good. But I would agree with you. I would actually go for the Aghanims here, but I think either choice would be warranted. Even something else maybe that helps them push. Like, I don't know how effective a Necronomicon would be, but I wouldn't I don't think it would be the worst of options here. But either way, right now we're kind of still waiting for the guys at Vega, I think, yeah. And interesting thing, down bottom, the lane, Broodmother versus Tidehunter. Do you think this lane is as one-sided as it seems to be?
And usually it's like 9 times out of 10 I would say Tidehunter has this lane on lockdown. There's usually not that much that Brood can do, but at a certain point, once Broodmother gets to level 7, maxing out on the Spiderlings, gets a couple of points in webs to, you know, create a real network out of it, then Tidehunter is no longer able to sit in the lane with the Brood. So from what I've seen, Tidehunter usually does really, really well, but then eventually starts slipping. So Yaren is going to not have the best of lanes, but he's also not in any trouble of dying either. So this Broodmother is not going to win the lane, but it's not going to lose the lane either. They're going to try to go for top lane, actually. Pashibashu is going to waste no time diving out of there.
I think an issue with the Broodmother, though, is the fact that with the network of webs she sets up, and this, I think Coucho was the one who brought this up, it's actually the issue is that you kind of have to stay in the lane for this network of webs to stay, because obviously even with the charges system, it's still quite bad for the Broodmother to actually leave the lane, have to set up the network of webs somewhere else. So if she doesn't manage to push this lane rather early, it's actually quite unfortunate for the Broodmother. I call it kind of a loss of the lane because of what the kind of hero you are. And the farm is actually not that effective on her. In fact, there's a sentry ward now, and they're going to find her, and right out of range, yeah, and they're trying to kill her, but they really can't. They should be able to see her just barely, but Yaren the Slayer actually managing to find out where the sentry ward is out of range, and Phoenix meanwhile getting a kill. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was more watching the bridge because she is so much in danger of a Pashibashu killing off a Vengeful Spirit, who I could only assume was trying to dive for that kill. Either way, it's going to be the Phoenix to not only survive, but turn around and come out with a lead there. So Phoenix is going to be, again, only dealing with one form of crowd control and the magic missile up on the top lane. And if he could avoid that or play around that so that he doesn't get spun after getting stunned, then he's going to be just fine. Over in the jungle, it's going to be Nihius who finally gets rid of these
Actually, it's mid
sentry blocking.
Hua is going to go down there to the Shadow Wave plus Snowball combo.
And up towards top lane, it's going to be at the speed of life. He's going to get dove by Pashibashu. Healing Ward's going to get snapped off immediately, and Pashi is still just fine up on this top lane, though he doesn't have Icarus Dive and Vengeful Spirit's coming around. There's boots on both these heroes. Vengeful Spirit's slightly faster. There's the minus armor. Juggernaut's closing in. Magic Missile now guaranteed to land. Unless Phoenix TP's out. Should be a Magic Missile. Not in time. And now Spook is stuck, so that's awkward. He's going to eat his way through and be just fine, but the 3-0 advantage, Shadow Fiend very easily ganked by a Tusk. And, well, he's not doing well versus the Luna either. He really needs a couple of stacks to start things off, but seems like the Luna, with her base damage advantage of Lunar Blessing, is holding strong this lane.
Yeah. I mean, that Lunar Blessing, especially because the Shadow Fiend is having a hard time getting the last hits. I mean, he has 5 right now, not that powerful with a Necromastery, so it's not that great. So the fact that that Lunar Blessing plus the Dazzle help is whatnot is actually really shutting down the Shadow Fiend. And I think he might have to rely on stacks. But the issue is you also have a Chen who might have to use the stacks himself because he has been severely countered in the beginning. So I don't know. The guys at Vega are doing a really good job, not at killing, but at shutting down the Hehe team. Meanwhile, Broodmother down bottom actually fighting Tidehunter with the Spiderlings. She has an army already. Jesus. She's trying to backdoor somehow, but actually going to get caught out slightly by his Tusk, and also Spiderling's going to die. Really unfortunate for her.
And the Spiderlings, you don't really want to give too many of those away just because each one doesn't give that much, but when you give like 4 or 5 away, suddenly that's a huge chunk of gold that the enemy team is going to have to work with. And, well, Hehe, they still haven't made their push happen just yet. Probably going to wait till maybe Omnislash level in the Juggernaut before they make that happen. He's level 5 at this stage. Only 3 skills leveled up, though. 2 stats? That is not the build that I expected from Juggernaut.
That's very old school. I haven't seen that in ages, but it's really interesting.
I mean,
I actually mentioned that.
Stats are good on Juggernaut. I'm not going to say that it's not, but when a good portion of your game plan revolves around this early Chen push, you kind of need to be able to fight. And Healing Ward, Blade Fury, these are all things that you need to have available, and you need to have them actually have an impact if you're going to fight early. Over towards bottom lane, Yaren going to get snowballed. Is there dust? No, there's not. Oh, there's a sentry, but it's a little bit too late. Yaren should be fine, although gets ice sharded right back in. He's going to turn around right back into the sentry, and he's going to get beaten down by 2 melee heroes. Very slow, but they will kill off the Broodmother. 4-0 now for Vega.
And meanwhile, up top, it's at the speed of life. Is trying to find the Phoenix, who is actually forced. Okay, no, he is not going to actually find him though. The Chen and the Venge not able to help him out too much, and it's interesting that our Zeke is actually showing pretty good. He's doing a pretty good job on the Tusk. Not much snowballs, but those ice shards are almost always on point. And really good. They're also farming the spiders really effectively, which is giving them a lot of blast hits and a lot of farm. So that's really unfortunate. They're actually not being as effective as we thought she's going to be.
Yeah, now she's up against a Ravage level Tidehunter, so if she does feel like she's powerful enough to kill off the Tidehunter, she will be dead wrong. Over towards bottom lane, the Tidehunter and Tusk combination is doing extremely well. Over towards mid, Undershock is very handily outlast hitting the Shadow Fiend, still doubling up Hawa's creep score right now, and Luna is not being punished at all by any sort of rotation from Hehe. No Chen smokes, no Vengeful Spirit leaving the lane either, and they're both trying to shut down the Phoenix, and they're not even doing a fantastic job at that either. Phoenix has a Supernova, and will probably be forced to use it if he wants a chance of getting out of here. Otherwise, the run down with the Blade Fury and the right click should be one more kill. Chop down, Phoenix dead. Finally, Hehe get on the board.
Why not use Supernova? Do you think it's just a hopeless attempt, so there was no need for it, or Dazzle actually getting a kill on Hua mid?
Yeah, it was just a snowball in, and then you just right click him down. I'm pretty sure even if he did Supernova, they could have just killed him off. So maybe he just wants to hold the cooldown. The cooldown is very large, so you don't want to squander it. He didn't have the Fire Spirits available. They were on cooldown, just use them. So I think it's reasonable enough to just sacrifice yourself there. But over towards mid, they're going to go again. It's going to be good who's going to get stuck in the Ice Shards. This time with an Eclipse meeting in. My god, that's a lot of damage. Here comes the Shadow Fiend, landing 1 raise, landing 2, but Undershock, 2 tower shots, gets healed by the Dazzle midway through, and will walk away. 6-1, and this mid lane is just a death trap for anyone from Hehe. These are all fragile heroes on their side, by the way, so the ability to get in very close with the snowball not something that many other heroes can offer you at only level 5, and looks like they're going to arm themselves for going again. Snowball, there it is, everyone in, here we go, rolling forward for the Shadow Fiend. This time no shard mana, but they have beatdown. That's going to be more than enough to kill off the Shadow Fiend for the 3rd time. Now down to 4 souls, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't really gotten past 10 this entire game.
It's really unfortunate. This Shadow Fiend just can't do anything. Like, he keeps getting ganked, and how do you run away from a Tusk Snowball? There's no way. That combination with Dazzler you talked about earlier, it's actually really, really powerful. And right now, I can't see any of the cores in the Hehe team. Maybe the Juggernaut somewhat, but not even that much. They're not farming well. Like, they're having a really bad time here. And even have a Broodmother who should be pretty farmed because just of how the kind of hero she is.
And Juggernaut, he's most likely just not a hero that is going to be leaving the lane anytime soon. Ordinarily, that would be fine since he could kill mostly whoever is going to be in his lane on the other end. Not versus the Phoenix, though. You try to Omni Slash him, he'll just Supernova, and then that's not going anywhere anytime soon. So Bashu, though, he's going to get chased down by the Juggernaut. A quick Icarus dive away, and he's going to be A-okay. So again, all the lanes right now are going so well for Vega, and the mid lane is just a train wreck for Hehe. Bottom lane is going okay, I think, just because Yaren is able to farm up so many plays at the same time. He's able to clear the jungle, then cut the creep wave, and he's getting a decent amount, but right now Vega just have complete control, and he still have yet to make this push happen with the Chen. They finally have 3 creeps available, but only a level 1 healing ward. I don't really know if it's going to be convincing enough to stop this, to continue on this push, especially when Vega can very easily teleport their Tide up towards the top lane, and then this push is stopped cold from a Ravage.
Yeah, those creeps could perhaps... I mean, they're pretty tanky creeps, like you said, but the Ravage... Oh, now going on Bashu. The Omni Slash being used, and no Supernova there, probably because he knew he was going to die. Good Omni Slash there. And they start pushing this tower. They have a healing ward available as well. It's going to be used, and they might be able. They should be able to take this tower. The Tide doesn't seem interested because he has to deal with a Broodmother, who's actually playing more like a distraction. Now the Tide actually getting a lot of farm down bottom and using that Ravage just to be able to save the tower. Wow, this Tide really wants this tower to not die, and he's going to deny it in the end, which is quite important. But the guys at Hehe are going to take the top tower. Does not actually hurt Hehe much more than it seems because it's just they really rely on the tower gold with the seeming strategy they're going for, so the deny is actually quite important. It's going to be most of their sources of gold. So good job with the Tide. I think the Ravage was warranted there.
Yeah, the Ravage was perfectly used there. You could decide to hold it and then try to kill the Broodmother down the line, but right now they're just hurting for gold, and if you deny them the tower, then you deny them gold. Therefore, Ravage is not going to gain you a lot of gold and a lot of benefit, but it's going to hurt the enemy team a hell of a lot more. So Vega, though they do lose 1 tower, 2 towers up on the top and bottom lanes, they're still doing just fine because they do get that deny, and well, now Hehe, they're still pretty much on the same game plan, but usually when we see these pushes happening, it's going to be a lot more than just a tier 1 tower. It's going to be at the very least all the top lane towers, and then rotating towards mid, and then trying to do that, and then towards bottom lane do the exact same thing. But it just seems like they don't have enough steam to do that right now. And down towards bottom lane, Broodmother, caught in the dust, is going to dodge absolutely everything. Has no TP, but I don't think there's any way that he could actually get to this Brood. They have a Blink Dagger on Tide, actually. They're going to snowball through, destroying a whole lot of trees. But Yaren is fine right now because the dust wears off. So failed gank attempt at the Brood, and this is pretty much the game plan for Hehe, or this should have been the game plan for minute 0. Push with the entire team, minus the Broodmother, and then force Vega to fight. But here we go, Supernova going to land. After the Fire Spirits, onto 2. No attack speed here. Shard's going to fly through. Sun not going to pop, but it will kill off the Shadow Fiend in the end. Now into Nihis they go. That's going to be 2 kills for Undershock of all heroes, with no Eclipse even. And with the snowball forward, they might get a couple of these Chen creeps as well. Yes, one is going to live. 20 HP. Shards, though, going to kill it off. And then one also gets dominated by Undershock, I believe. So the push from Hehe, that's a pretty massive failure, especially when the crackback is going to make them lose a tier 1 tower of their own.
Jesus Christ, the Centaur has almost as much health as the Ancients now. This is the best pushing Centaur ever. But that aside, that team fight, I think there's a couple mistakes here. The dive into the sun is not, like, any experienced Phoenix player doesn't really do that, but at the same time, it was a really good distraction, so I guess in this case it was pretty decent. And they're just staying back and attacking the sun was kind of pointless. They could have just run away. They didn't take the tower, but they weren't gonna, even if they were gonna kill the Phoenix. So I don't know. That was a little bit weird by the Hehe team.
Yeah, maybe they just figure, hey, there's a Supernova there, we might as well try to kill it. And they have 3 heroes there, so killing off a level 1 Supernova is not too difficult. But it's, as you said, just a distraction. The Phoenix kind of wanted to die there. It kind of wanted to draw fire away from the rest of his team just so that they can clean house, and it's exactly what happened. So Vega, they take a nice little team fight there. 9-3 now in lead. Still have to deal with this Broodmother, and Tidehunter probably isn't going to be leaving the lane, at least not for an extended period of time. But right now, Vega, they're fighting perfectly well without their Tide. I mean, Undershock is getting an absurd amount of farm. He has Helmet Dominator Yasha already 12 minutes in with Power Shreds. And if he had 0 gold, that would be really good farm, but instead he has 1700 and clearing off a 1, 2, 3, I think it was 4 stacks of Ancient there. Maybe it was just 3 total, but either way, this Luna is going to be absolutely filthy rich.
Yeah, I mean, do you think she should go for Monter, keep it as a casual Yasha, and then perhaps go for BKB early? Oh, actually using the Eclipse on Mr. Good, but the swap also being used, and actually Undershock goes down. That was really unfortunate for them. Simo Slayer, oh, Ravage comes out as well, and actually now one of them dies. Vengeful going down, but Simo Slayer is going to go down as well. And not really the best Ravage, actually. It seems like Tidehunter is going to go down as well. And Snowball, really weird fight. Walrus Punch to kill off that Shadow Fiend, now trying to kill Nihis as well. That Phoenix Sun actually manages to kill Phoenix, and now going on Juggernaut. Juggernaut, the only one alive, trying to run away. Has Mask of Madness in 5 seconds, so he's going to get that little boost of speed. It might not be enough, though, with the damage extra and the Sun Ray as well to finish him off. Well, that was a really weird, hectic team fight.
Yeah, 13 for 6. I think it ultimately is fine for Hehe, even though it is a 3 for 4. The Broodmother still is getting a lot of free space over towards the mid lane. The Phoenix and the Tusk coming in kind of awkwardly at the last portions of that fight, but they actually made it happen. Even though they got initiated upon, things weren't going too well for them. Ordinarily, you expect an Eclipse and those types of spells not to do well with Chen creeps around, but that Chen really didn't do that much in that last fight. So he getting kind of wrecked by the Ravage and the AoE team fight of Vega, though they're still doing fine, especially towards bottom lane where Sima is getting demolished by a whole bunch of spiders. Will heal bomb all of them. Oh my god. I have no idea how many those were, but that is at the very least like 150 gold for Dazzle.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. But Dazzle is at the bottom of the net worth, so it's not like he's gonna do much with it. But every bit of gold on the support counts. Either way, now it seems like there's a standoff position in the mid lane, and now the swap being used on no one. No one seems to be the first one to go down. No, never mind. He wants to actually go on Good. He's trying to turn this around. Sujo also following him, and now Good in trouble. The poison touch as well, and the hand of God trying to save this vengeful spirit. Arzeek now the one in trouble, gonna go down first. The Weeping uses to get a little minus armor on the enemy team. And it's going to be the Venge to die next, but nobody else dying just yet. And again, this kind of a Mexican standoff they're suffering here.
Got picked off by the burn damage of those fire spirits. Everyone else from Hehe managing to escape their ability to save their allies. I mean, the Vengeful Spirit got bailed out by the Healing Ward, only level 2 at this point, but also the Hand of God there, and Venge lived a lot longer than I think any of us really expected. The thing is, though, I mean, Hehe take a 1-for-1 trade. That was with Vega deciding not to commit the Supernova there, not having the Eclipse available there, and not having the Ravage either. So, I mean, if Vega are fighting at such low power levels, then yeah, it's going to go okay for Hehe. But actually, when the ultimates are going to be dropped, once everything that is huge in AoE is actually going to be casted, then things are going to get a lot worse for Hehe, and they can't really expect to escape with that many heroes next time once the Ravage and Supernova are used.
Yeah, I agree. I think another issue is that of course, a 1-for-1 trade, if you're behind, is kind of great because obviously it's all you can muster. But at the same time, when you're the team that should not be behind, you're the team that should be pushing towers and whatnot, it's not the greatest. So the longer this game goes, the better for Vega. And right now, they're trying to hunt this poor Broodmother. In fact, Orage being used to kill the Vengeful Spirit and the Snowball as well. One more hit ought to do it, and the Vengeful is going to go down to the Tidehunter. But the Broodmother still not dead, and the Ravage was used. I don't think that was the best Ravage ever, but you know.
Especially if you look towards mid lane, they don't have a Ravage to deal with this now. They're going to try to go for Yaren, who's going to pop the Hunger and just go to town on everyone, at least try to waste their time. However, the Sigil is going to be focused down. They actually can't get to Yaren. Now they will, and now Yaren is going to take a fall. But over towards mid, Supernova is there. Cleanly disengaged, though, from Hehe, as both Nias and Hawa are going to be A-okay. They're going to turn around actually with an Invis on the Shadow Fiend. He will be able to prime his ultimate. However, Nias is in quite a bit of trouble. Has no Hand of God, has already used the mech. Where the hell is the Shadow Fiend? He's a little bit late to the party. It's already too late to save the Chen. There's the Requiem. Well, no, there's the Requiem. That'll kill off one instantly, but the turnaround from Undershock, you do so much damage to Shadow Fiend, he'll take him down. Now it's going to go onto the Vengeful Spirit. The Juggernaut a little bit too late to this party. A couple of chops for Tsima. We'll get that kill. Now dueling Undershock. I don't know if this is a duel that he'll be able to win. And it looks like, yeah, the Luna's going to come out ahead, especially if she just turns around and kills off this healing ward. Mantis style split for good measure at the speed of life is going to lose. And now Hehe, they've lost all 5 of their heroes all across the map. While Vega, they have Undershock, the real winner there. 7-1-5, Tidehunter and Tusk both surviving. This is really bad for Hehe. If they're not pushing with this Chen, if this gets to a late game stage, then it's just a pretty much dead weight hero. And Broodmother at this point is probably feeding over more gold to the Vega side than she's actually accruing for herself.
Yeah, I mean, she has the whole game. Those wards, like those sentry wards, pay for themselves because you kind of destroy the Broodmother army. And so just kind of wait for her to build her army and they just kind of go. And it's quite unfortunate for them. You can see by the fact that Undershock, he hasn't even been farming Broodlings. It has been the Tidehunter. He's just been farming like very safely. And now going for that BKB, really powerful. And this Luna, she's a pretty good mid-game carry if you build her like so. And it's going to be really scary. Right now, it's at her peak. So...
And this is, yeah, exactly where you want to be as Luna. 18 minutes in, being level 14. That's ridiculous in and of itself. She has a lot more farm than Luna's ordinarily do at this stage, and her eclipses haven't even been that amazing. They've just been decent enough. So they're going to now push in Vega. They are going to lose the Dazzle. No, they're not actually. Grave TP and Broodmother has no way to interrupt that. Dazzle gets to live, but bottom lane tower is going to be destroyed in the process. He's just trying to delay for all they're worth, but they're not going to get anything done there. At the speed of light plus Venge, they have no medallion here, but the wave is going to make so that Roshan is possible, but no longer. Once the Frozen Sigil spots everything out, at the very least, he have to be thankful that there was no range in time for the snowballs, but either way, now Hehe know about this, and Luna can, for the most part, do this by herself. If she gets any sort of help at all, then this Roshan is going to be cleared out, and maybe Yaren is going to take a tower, maybe Hehe are going to try to contest this, but that's not really a good idea, just because they are fighting into a Ravage right now. Omni Slash is there, Blink Ravage going to connect onto only Spook, but the Omni Slash will be used to kill off the Tusk. In the meantime, Phoenix Egg looking to pop, will do so onto the BKB Shadow Fiend. Weave going to be thrown, and now Hala is completely surrounded as the Undershock claims the Aegis. Ultimate from the Shadow Fiend going to be wound up and thrown, but now he's all alone, so I don't really think he has much to do here. No one's going to dive forward with the help of the Phoenix, kill off the Juggernaut, then the Shadow Fiend shortly after. Here comes the Broodling army, but it's just food for Undershock at this point. He's going to instead turn around and try to go for Nihis, and it looks like this Chen is pretty much screwed at this point. One more hit from Undershock's all he needs. There it goes. It's a killing spree for Undershock. Broodmother very quickly going to retreat with the rest of her Spiderlings, and they take down the Phoenix and the Tusk, but they lose a hell of a lot, and Luna's still the survivor after all of this.
Now they're picking out the Spider, but I don't think the Broodmother, but they're not going to go on her. And this game is really interesting because it's kind of a parallel, like it's the mirror. Oh, okay, I thought I was speaking. It's a mirror image of the last game because before we also saw this kind of thing where they went for Roche and they kind of attacked. They went for Roche and they had a team fight there, but Luna, similar to the Troll War in that last game, continued to Roche and then went on and joined the fight just because of how dominating they are. On top of that, they were actually at 20 and 10 back then, so actually really close. And we saw Hehe take that game really convincingly, so I don't know. I'm kind of scared for the guys at Hehe right now.
Yeah, they still have some pretty good late game heroes. Juggernaut, Shadow Fiend, being amplified by minus armor, the Vengeful Spirit. These are the types of heroes that you really want to have if you're in this type of situation, but not a Chen, and especially not when they're trying to go for the strategy of pushing to begin with. It's not really good times there. And Vega, they also have the Luna, who's just getting all the farms she could possibly want in the world right now. Lots of pushing going on towards bottom, but it will all be crushed by the Phoenix Dazzle combination, and it's up towards top lane where the rest of the Vega heroes are going to try to make a push. This might be a little bit too bold, however. They can very easily be collapsed upon, but Chen doesn't even have a creep army right now, and what is Chen going to do without that? He has gone for the mech for his team, so it's a nice item to have for sure, but Chen at this point is pretty much just mech and Hand of God. I don't see him doing much of anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like the mech choice, perhaps, like I said earlier, but it is a pretty decent choice, though. At this point, it's kind of late. And I don't see how effective it's going to be, really, for this kind of pushing potential they have. In fact, I think they lost the pushing war, even. And now, down bottom, it seems like Phoenix is going to be finding Broodmother. But the Shadow Grave is going to be okay. You see him going to be saving the Phoenix. Meanwhile, up top, Luna actually playing the same split push game as the Broodmother. And going to be able to take the tier 3 if she chooses to. Just going to harass it for now.
Yeah, and Luna is a hero that's capable of doing that. Even though the illusions don't really do that much to the tower, being able to clear out the creep waves with the glaives is huge. It means the creeps do the heavy lifting, and you don't have to. So Luna doing her best up towards top is going to force a couple heroes back. It's going to be blink forward from no one. Going to pop the Shivas looking for Spook, and he's going to use the Ravager to kill off the Venge. I mean, it will get the kill, but that's a pretty steep investment in just a kill on a hero that, quite frankly, doesn't matter too much. Omni Slash to RZ going to make it a 1-for-1 trade overall. Ultimate for ultimate used. However, I think the Ravage is probably a little more important right now. Either way, it's going to be kills traded, and won't really matter too much if they don't make anything happen in the next 2 minutes. Conveniently for no one, by the well, actually, the Aegis is still on Luna. Never mind. Yeah, Vega probably going to wish that they let the Vengeful Spirit live and they just had the Ravage if they really want to make this push.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I think the Ravages, at first I was like, yeah, they were good Ravages, but now it seems like they're being used a little too freely. I think it's been used on the solo Venge actually twice already, and in the Roche fight it was also used similarly. So I think the Titan needs to understand that even though they're winning, they do need the Ravage for the team fights. It's kind of half the thing that makes them win a team fight. So just save it. It's not that big a deal to kill a Venge after all.
Yeah, though the Luna is big, she's not big enough to the point where she could just, you know, turn on a Satanic and a move into your team. She's very close to that though. I mean, she's now packing an Eagle Song. She's doing some pretty serious damage, but going for a push like this, they can make a defense. If they were all here, they would be able to fight this, but you know, obviously they're not. So Luna's going to clear out the tier 2 tower as the Broodmother's going to do her best trying to cut the creep wave, but gets dusted up, pops the Necrobook in panic, but Walrus Punch then right-clicks. Yaren the Slayer is going to get crushed down towards bottom. Not only will she lose her life, but also fed over a good amount of Spiderlings, as well as 1, maybe even 2 Necro Warriors. Yeah, that's 400 extra gold at the very least for the Vega side. And that's gold that, quite frankly, you can't afford to lose anymore. You have to play this game so tight if you're Hehe, and that's just a little bit too much to ask for, giving away that many Spiderlings and miscellaneous units like that. Vega, the rest of the heroes, they're over towards mid. They don't have a Ravage, but man, I think at this point they're powerful enough, especially with no Broodmother to worry about, to at the very least pressure the high ground, at least try to use this Aegis.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, they do have the Supernova still, and they do have the Eclipse as well, so they still have pretty powerful ultimates, and the Ravage is actually going to come online pretty soon, 20 seconds, so they really need to use this Aegis rather soon. I mean, even if it's only a heal, at least make the heal count for something. And I'm just going to go for this TO3 push. Can the guy that he really do anything at this point?
Well, they don't have any fantastic initiation, they don't have a Ravage of their own or anything like that, and now they have to deal with these glaives. I always love seeing the glaives do this, like, it's amazing to watch, and then everything dies at the same time. So melee Rax is down, the ranged illusions are still bouncing those glaives, and they can't do anything. Their game plan is never to be on the defense in this much of a scenario. They want to be attacking because they don't have initiation. If they had a Bat Rider, or if they had a Blinking Tidehunter, yeah, that probably could have been a fight, but it's clearly not the case in this particular game. They're going to catch our Zeke with an Omni Slash, maybe, after the Snowball. So the Tusk is pretty dead, but yeah, he's not even gonna get Omni Slash. 1, 2, 3 shots. That's a pretty easy kill. Now it's gonna be Seema who's in the most trouble. Haste Rune on the Shadow Fiend. Swap back just so he can try to get the stun out. But here comes Phoenix laying down a carpet of fire, and the Tidehunter also here with the Shiva's Guard. Here comes Undershock going to prep the ultimate for Hawa, which is going to be not dodged by Undershock. Now taking an Omni Slash to the face. Undershock is gonna lose the Aegis and die. Off to the side, the Supernova is going to be thrown, which will blow up 1. Here comes the Ravage going to kill off the Shadow Fiend. Now into Yaren they go. Actually, no, they don't see him. Actually, no, they do definitely see him. Sunray and the dots from the Phoenix going to kill off the Brood. And Vega, they lose their Luna, which is only the second time that's happened in this game. Don't take the worst trade overall, but Hehe, they just, even though they do take a 2-for-3 trade, it's not good enough. They need much better than that.
Yeah, we saw the power of those ultimates, and Luna was pretty much shut down early in the team fight, and they still managed to sort of like win that team fight at the end. So it's just really powerful. The Ravage plus the, especially really good location, by the way, of the Supernova there over here in the, can I draw now? Yeah, over here, like in the high ground, really smart by the Phoenix. But that aside, like it just shows their complete power. Now they're gonna go on Nihi's. Nihi's in a lot of trouble being hit by that E-Blade. Oh wow, I didn't even see that. And Nihi's actually managing to almost get a kill on Pasha. Pasha now has to run away. But the Gush and that extra damage from the Tide should be able to finish him off. And wow, E-Blade on the Phoenix. Interesting. What do you think of this?
Yeah, that's going pretty deep. I guess usually we see something more along the lines of Shiva's, but Tidehunter already has one, so that's not really an item we want to go for. E-Blade is going to keep you safe versus most of the power of Hehe. So I think Ghost Scepter would have been reasonable, and then Ghost Scepter miscellaneous other item would have been probably better. But man, they're pretty much doubling up Hehe's score. You might as well go for a fun item like E-Blade.
Yeah, it's it's gonna be interesting to see. I don't know. The E-Blade, I guess, could be good in the Shadow Fiend if Shadow Fiend gets more farm, but it's just right now, I don't see much of a counter for Hehe. The only thing I'm worried about is that Shadow Fiend and Juggernaut are technically pretty good late game carries, and they have been built in this way, which is counterintuitive to Hehe's graph or whatever. So they could potentially take this late game. Do you think that could be a possibility, even if they don't have the big initiation they should have?
That's the only chance that Hehe really have. So they don't really have any alternative. Like, they're not going to push now. That's just going to be suicidal. So that's the way they have to play. Whether or not they're going to get powerful enough to actually make it happen, I don't personally think that that's going to happen. Just because Vega, if they're like sitting back and farming, yeah, then they're going to give Hehe a chance in this game. But clearly that's not the game plan, because they have the Ravage in 20. They have a Refresher coming on the Tidehunter, and Undershock has a Wolf with a Butterfly completed. So they're going to go down towards the bottom lane. They're already a melee racks up in this game. And if they take another, then it really doesn't matter how big the Juggernaut and Shadow Fiend get, just because they won't be able to hold back everything. And yeah, Vega, they're not going to let this game get to the late game. So Hehe, fight now or lose. And even if they fight now, the glaives are going to be so beautiful bouncing around.
It's always pretty to see the glaives, I agree. But either way, I agree. I don't think they can really fight now. Maybe the only initiation they might have is actually that Omni Slash or maybe the Shadow Fiend going in. So it's an all or nothing kind of situation, and everyone's coming in. They're preparing for that team fight. In goes Hua. He's starting. He wants to do something, but no, kind of just... Oh, the Glaive's actually dealing enough damage. The Ravage being thrown out actually managed to kill off the bench, but the Hua is still alive thanks to that BKB, and the Water Punch actually kills the Chen afterwards. Hua, now BKB is done for him, so he could be going down to this Phoenix, but it's not enough. The E-Blade dealing a lot of damage. Hua still managing to make it out alive, and the Sun Ray now finishing him off. Fasha trying to get away, but a good bash is going to keep him in place. At the speed of life is the only one left to try to use the Manta, but the illusions are immediately destroyed. That weave is really powerful. He can go down, but it's not going to be enough to gush, and that ice should actually go down enough to finish up the Juggernaut. Only guy left here is the Broodmother plus a Shadow Fiend who just popped back, but the GG is called. The game has ended. It's going to be a game 3, guys.
Alright, so I say I want to see Vega at least not get completely demolished by Hehe twice in a row, and it looks like I get what I want. Vega and Hehe is going to continue on to a game 3 here in jDL Division 1-2 playoffs. It was a pretty decent fight, actually, all things considered, for Hehe. They bring everything to bear. They pretty much tank up the Ravage very effectively. They tank the Eclipse very effectively, but at a certain point, you just can't do everything, and Luna barely escapes with 1 HP, given the shallow grave. So Vega, they take game 2, and we'll be right back for game 3, guys. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by D Sword. Hopefully game 3 is a little bit closer, because these two games have been rather one-sided.